Breaking. This episode of Sunflower and Nightshade is breaking news, guys. And
Breaking news.
breaking news, y'all. Like this
It's
news.
terrifying. We're going to start off a little bit of terrifying news.
So it is absolutely terrifying news, 100% absolutely terrifying.
I didn't know
So,
if it was horrific or scary or terrifying. I didn't know which word to use.
so
Freya is now
guys,
sniffing the microphone. She's so intimidated by this story.
if something says do not touch, do not move, do not do anything with, don't look at it, you got to bless it every single month, would you do it? Yes. You wouldn't touch it, you wouldn't move it. Well, you know what? Someone didn't fucking listen.
They didn't fucking listen.
Annabelle is missing.
Annabelle is fucking missing. How in the hell do you not listen? I mean, they were scam artists, sure. I do believe that they scammed people 100%. But whether or not you believe that they were real, that doll had some shit put on it. Like the people, even if you don't believe that it was possessed by a demon, right? The people put that in like energy out there. So that doll is a fucking terror.
Well, my biggest thing is, again, you didn't listen.
You didn't listen.
They asked you for basic rules. Don't touch it. Don't move it. Don't open it up. Leave her where she's at. Why the fuck did we think she needs to go on a tour of the U.S.? No.
But
this
she
is...
did burn down a plantation.
Exactly. So that's where I was getting to. You know, you take her to Louisiana, and I have a conspiracy theory about this. I came up with this today. So, why would you take her to Louisiana? Out of all places in the United States to take her first, why Louisiana? There's no, like, I mean, I don't know if that's where she, like, originated or what. But here's my theory. Hold on, this is my theory. What if they took her down to Louisiana in hopes that someone would steal her because Louisiana is known for voodoo. That is very well known. People still practice voodoo in Louisiana and in other parts of the United States, I'm assuming, but it's very much so in Louisiana. What if they were hoping someone would steal her, do some magic, some voodoo, whatever, to release whatever spirit is in there, and that's why she's missing all of a sudden? Because how do you lose a doll? How do you lose her?
Somebody probably stole her, but do you want to hear my conspiracy theory about little old Annabelle?
Okay.
So, what if we know for a fact that they have come out with things saying that what were their last names? The people that had her.
Warrens.
The Warrens?
Warrens.
They have said that they were shysters.
Yeah.
They were fake, like they did this, right? What if, just by chance, it's not a Dybbuk, it's not a demon. What if, thinking back to, I mean, this is like Kabbalah, because you know I'm really into all the weird ancient religion stuff. It's not even really weird. They still practice Kabbalah some places around the world. I think I've heard they have. I don't know if it's true. But Kabbalah was a part of early Judaism. I think it was early. It's a little bit later than like traditional, but it's before Christianity. I'm pretty sure. And if I'm wrong and I'm butchering this, you guys can tell me in the comments. But no one's going to listen to this that actually knows anything about Kabbalah. But anyway, so in Kabbalah, there was a lot of like extra stuff because Judaism had monsters and things that Christianity didn't have. So in Kabbalah, there's a lot of like the exorcism stuff. I don't know if that's really what it is, but there is a book, the Emerald Tablet, that was written by an old Hebrew man who went into the woods, and it actually comes full circle to today. But he went and they would summon their guardian angel, and then they would conquer demons and gain powers through this process. So in this process, they would conquer these demons, gain powers, and they would become basically holy. The Order of the Golden Dawn, I believe, whatever it was that Aleister Crowley was a part of, all of that, took this on, but they made it about demonology and the demons, where it was originally part of the Jewish faith. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong. I've only read about it. What I've read about it, I've not went to school for it. So what if, because if you think about what happened, right? She terrorized the Warrens. She terrorized the people that had her. But the first thing that she does after they leave is burn down a plantation that's probably full of tortured souls. She gets vengeance for the people who are in pain and suffering.
So are you saying
She's a guardian angel. A violent guardian angel, probably more like one of the seraphim or
and see, like, that's the thing. Like, I guess I don't see guardian angels as someone that is so violent.
but we have,
I mean, they have to I guess kind of be violent to fight the demons that are trying to get to you.
but I mean, I'm not saying that Annabelle isn't evil. Annabelle probably is evil, but it was just something that I thought was crazy that she was this terror, but then she goes and burns down this plantation.
Well, you make a really good point.
Because a lot of the angels, there were some that in canonically speaking, they did evil things because God can't do evil, right? So he has angels who do things for him. And it's kind of the one of the thoughts of where Lucifer came from in original. They don't have a lot of proof of this, but because what was Satanus was the, what is it called? The adversary. So it wasn't a Satan. There were multiple Satanus. There were adversaries, people that were in the divine council with God that, depending on what you believe, whether or not Yahweh was Adonai, the God on high, or he was a son of the God on high, and that's how he was given Israel, and then he just took over. There's a lot to it that I watched Dan McClellan and a lot of other things. But with this, when you get to that point, I think it might not have been the seraphim, but there was an angel that was sent to do things to people that God didn't want to do himself. Because isn't it, we have the loving, the merciful God, so there had to be someone to interact and do the wrong thing on his behalf in order for everything to be within his plan. Goes to whether or not you believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful God, because an all-knowing, all-powerful God would have to allow these things to happen, right? But in that case, she could be not, and I mean, that may be why what they did didn't work, right? Because these exorcisms that they do, they work on demons, they
But
work on evil things, or it's all a hoax. And there was, yeah. So she burned down a plantation full of tortured souls, possibly freeing those souls.
So it makes a lot of sense. It makes
And
a
this is
lot of
just
sense
the
because
occulty.
what if she was causing all of the havoc? And I'm not like saying she's an angel or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, what if the reason why she was, but also,
What if she was exposing people for being crappy people?
well, I don't think it's that. My big, like, when I'm trying to figure out, or what like, because it makes sense. Because what if the reason why she was terrorizing is because she was trying to get out to, sorry, Freya just like randomly
I guess we should do like a
barked.
trigger warning on this. I mean, it's a little bit too late at this point because there's already going to be a lot of pissed off Christians who are going to be yelling at me if they listen to this. But, oh well. Like, Christianity comes from a broad line of religions, and there's even a possibility that there was a hierarchy of gods in the original Hebrew faith. So, now
So,
you're
Now I'm hearing shit.
Yeah. But we don't think that Annabelle is a guardian angel.
No.
We do not
I'm
welcome
just
any
like,
evil into our lives.
yeah.
It's just, why would something, my thought process, and knowing
Why
some
would
of the
it
things
burn
that I've
down
heard,
a plantation? Like,
why would you not cause those souls to suffer more if you were purely evil? So there's that. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's
now
about all I had to say about it.
I'm just now in deep thought. You have me like,
So we don't want to talk about religion on the podcast. That wasn't talking about religion. It was talking about history. But there is no rule for what religion you have to be to follow our podcast. If you
yeah.
want to hear me spout weird shit and Caitlin do her little glitter goblin stuff, you can listen.
Yeah. I mean,
No hate,
no
no
hate,
shade.
no nothing.
Yeah.
I don't
We
even
just
think you were throwing hate or shade or anything like that.
no, I was just saying
You
that
gave
people
pure
are gonna be pissed
history.
off at me for saying that stuff. I was raised Baptist and Pentecostal. Dad's family's Pentecostal, mom's family's Baptist. So like I know I've learned a lot throughout my life, and I know a lot about the Bible. I just also wanted to learn more about where it came from. So
Yep.
there is that.
But yeah, I mean, I really wanted to talk about this today and on the podcast because, I'm into paranormal shit. I always have been. It creeps the fuck out of me. It really does. It creeps me out, but it keeps me wanting more. Why do you think I love ghost adventures?
Okay. I don't like
Which,
ghost
fun
adventures.
fact, hold on. Fun fact about that. Did you know you want to talk about Zach Bagans, being this douchebag? Let me tell you. Now, granted, doesn't end in happy endings. He was married to a Playboy bunny that he also then cheated on 4 times, and now they're getting a divorce, but that's besides the point.
That doesn't make him not. He is a huge douche.
Well, okay.
Everybody that I've read online that have talked about him filming in their places say that he's a huge douche.
Right, and I guess I shouldn't have said that, like,
marrying a Playboy bunny doesn't mean you're not a douche.
well, I mean, he has game, I guess, if you get a Playboy bunny, but
He looks like he is the guy that you go to Bible club and he will throw the Bible at you because you say that you've smoked weed once in your life.
I think he looks like a gym bro.
No, nothing about him screams gym bro. The closest thing to gym bro is when he tries to carry 10 chairs at once to impress the girls at church. Again, not throwing shade. I was that guy when I was younger. He looks like a dorky ass kid. But he's trying to be cool. I talk about toxic masculinity. I was that guy.
I still love that show, though. I do. I
don't
love
see
that
Jim.
show.
I see dude that doesn't understand what he's talking about. Also me.
I see it as a great show, and they do.
It is very good entertainment value.
Yes, but it's also scary.
No.
I think it's scary because, again, I grew up in a house that was haunted. I think everyone forgets about this, and they're like, "Caitlin, why are you so scared of paranormal? That doesn't make sense." Because I lived with it my entire life. Okay, it's gonna be weird. I would roll over. Okay, hear me out. I would roll over and face my closet, okay? I would have a nightmare. I would then roll over and face my wall and my window. I would have a good dream. And that would happen in the middle of the night.
I feel like that is just confirmation bias from your brain because your brain would associate your closet with monsters and scary things because, we did have the movie Monsters Inc. growing up and your window was like the outside, the safe wasn't in the dark. And
no, outside was not safe. I didn't like the dark. I also would not walk home after watching Pet Sematary.
Well, I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains.
And it was broad daylight.
So I'm not.
I was afraid that little kid was going to jump out the ditch and be like, "Gotcha, bitch."
I'm more afraid of the dark inside than I am outside, and I grew up in the mountains. I saw a shadow person in Nana and Papa's backyard, and I'm still more afraid of the dark inside than I am outside.
I saw they're called apparitions.
No, this was a shadow person. Look it up.
Okay, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I saw an apparition come out of my playroom, get something out of the hallway, and disappear into the bathroom. Pe- like some people, like me and my best friend were talking about this. She's more afraid of like slashers and like, the Jason Voorhees, the uh Michael, the what Michael Mar-
Michael Myers?
Michael Myers, thank you. Like,
Not Mike Myers.
shut full government name,
Shagadelic,
Michael
baby.
Myers. But like she's like more afraid of those. And so I asked her, I was like, why? Like, I was curious because like mine has always been paranormal. And she's like, because that can actually happen. And I realized, like, that was when I realized, holy shit, it's because I grew up in a haunted house that actually happened to me. Like, that's why I think the paranormal stuff is more scary. Whereas, granted, she didn't, grow up with serial killers and shit like that, but like, she grew up, having a fear, as most, sorry, Freya, as most girls do, of big scary men stay away. And so like so it makes sense. Like,
See, I get being scared of slashers,
well, yeah, I
but
mean,
I'm
I wouldn't
more
want
scared
to
of
be
like
murdered.
the realistic stuff, not like Jason Voorhees, the whole that's
Well,
paranormal.
see, I
Essentially,
think
after the first movie, it becomes paranormal because the first movie was just Jason's mother. But
well, I
there,
agree because again, to me, the paranormal is more real than the slasher movies. Like the slasher seems very fictional to me, whereas the paranormal is very
yeah, no
like
one's gonna
real.
be able to withstand what those things do in the slasher movies. But if you have something for me like the Jeffrey Dahmer documentaries, those are fucking terrifying. I mean, not that
That's
I'm a
because that
gay
shit
guy walking
actually
down the road.
happened. That's why
Yeah,
that's scary.
yeah. Like I'm not gonna ever be in that situation because I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want to get in the car with you. But back then you did. Like hitchhiking was a thing. You don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah,
But
that's why we're like, why little girls and now little boys too. Don't trust strangers, because this man could put you in a freaking acid bath.
well, he would kill you first. You didn't
Well,
die in the acid bath. But yeah,
thank you for the technicality. I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
but yeah, I think I've always been more scared, and it actually my fears drive me to learn more. So like that's the reason why I've learned so much about Kabbalah and witchcraft and demonology. Even I don't know a lot about demonology, but like part of it from Kabbalah and knowing that all of these things that they use in the church today never existed, not only during Jesus's time, but even a lot of it to Judaism. There was an invention of heaven at one point; it didn't exist before, right? So I was always more terrified by that stuff. The growing up in the mountains of West Virginia, you hear about things you don't, some of the stuff I didn't find out about until I was older. You don't look into the trees, you look at the trees. Um, you hear your name in the woods, you don't go. I was always more scared of like snakes and bobcats and bears though.
Like real life, like things that you could see.
Yeah, and I mean we did have a lot of like wood witchy stuff growing up. There were people who did witchcraft up on the mountain, some people that we were told about that used to like I don't know how true it was. It could have been them screwing with us because we were kids, but like somebody's grandmother had like a levitating table or some shit. Like it was weird stuff we were told as a child or as children. So you have that stuff, but it to me it was more of the direct danger of the bear, the bobcat, the snake. I
Yeah, because
mean,
it's something that you could
something that I actually had to
actively,
worry about. Like I got
yeah. Well, it was kind of like something that you can see.
it's like so they talk about calling your name. We were always told if you hear a woman screaming in the woods, don't go. But it's not because there's a woman. It's because bobcat screams sound like a woman yelling
Yeah,
in pain. Like it's terrifying.
yeah.
So that, all this other stuff, like I know about, but I learned about it later in life. When I was younger, there wasn't a lot of that stuff. We knew about like Nana can draw the heat from a burn and um, Uncle Perry could stop bleeding. but that's all related to Christianity. It's little prayers that they do.
Yeah.
So it is, for me, the realistic stuff is a little more scary, but always being raised a Christian, the demonology was realistic, right?
Yeah. I mean, and like, I guess it was because I could never see it. And that's what really like freaked me out about it is I couldn't see it. I had a doll fall from the top shelf of my dresser when I was a kid. I didn't touch it, nothing. It was knocked off.
But
And that
there's,
no, that doll was up there for at least I think I was like 8 at the time. It had been up there for about at least 7 years.
but,
'Cause it was, like, up there, like, my mom started putting them up there when I was first born. I was laying in bed. There was nothing that rocked it. None of the other ones moved. It was knocked off.
we always have to think the spooky thing, right? This is Sunflower Nightshade, but also because you are you, physics can probably explain it.
No, physics could not explain it. Physics could not explain why I had haunty experiences in my old house, but at my new gosh, I sound like a freaking child. While at my childhood home, I had the spooky, scary skeleton, stuff like that. But, at my adolescent and teenage home, where I finished growing up, I never had that. Like footsteps. My mother heard voices in the vents. I had a I don't, girls, if you know, you know. Bath time bouncy. She would only sing if you pushed her belly button or if she had like little metal pieces on her legs that would sense the water. She would only sing if she sensed the water or if you pushed her belly button. Those were the only two things. She was switched off. Or my mom I don't know if she was switched off or not. I'm not sure. My mother dried her off, everything like that, and we put her in the linen closet. That's where she went every single time after I had a bath when I was a kid. One night she started singing in the fucking closet. And tell me at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're dead asleep, who wants to hear? You want
It
to
was
hear that at
probably
2 o'clock in the
called the
morning?
sensors. Well, I mean, and
That
I get
doll
it.
went in
That's
the trash,
creepy.
by the way.
Huh?
The doll went in the trash. My
Well,
mother
yeah, of
said
course.
no.
So we've had our Googles go off randomly in the apartment. So like,
Yeah, that shit's fucking
it
scary.
doesn't mean it's not creepy, but there's
Well,
explanations for this stuff.
for that, yes. For those, yes, that makes sense. They're connected to the internet. I get that. This was a bath time bouncy doll that was made in probably like
It probably runs with water
1999.
stuck in a sensor. I'm not trying to downplay
You
her.
are trying to
No,
downplay. That
she
was my
doesn't realize what
childhood
I'm doing,
trauma.
but I'm trying to make it to where she will sleep tonight
No, I
without
will
being all
sleep
creeped out.
fine tonight. I've already processed that. I know what happened. I'm no longer in that home and I'm fine. But also, if I need to watch 16 hour or not 16,
16
6 hours of Bluey and play Mario Kart to sleep tonight, then damn it, I'll do it.
Glitter goblin. Glitter goblin.
Guys, he typed into chat GPT. He was like, basically describe me.
No, okay, so here's what happened. I use ChatGPT as a prompter because I have a lot of ideas, but I am very bad at voicing them. So I use ChatGPT to kind of streamline my thoughts. And I wanted to add some of Caitlin's vibe.
Because it is all like mystery and mystique.
Well, because I put in there that I
Bourbon.
want what my vibe was supposed to be for the podcast that I was doing. And it fell through and everything didn't happen, but it kept all that stuff. So we had to get something in Caitlin's idea. So I put in a description of her. And it actually called her out for who she really was.
After, because it went to the witchy side.
Yes,
the
it did go
very,
back
like,
to the occulty stuff and all
the
that.
very occulty, very hippie-ish, like if you're,
Not hippie at all, but okay.
but okay, this is what I think of when it said it. and one of my best friends is a Taurus. I think of like when it explained it, I thought of someone who was a Taurus.
It,
Carter.
to me, it was more of like
Like where like I just like
Wood
think of
Witch,
very
White Witch
whimsical,
vibes.
woody, like that's what I thought of. And I'm like, that's not me. And then
No.
he put in take out the witchy stuff and she's bubbly, likes dogs, Powerpuff Girls and Barbie, because I loved that when I was growing up. Boom. It literally came up with me to a T, guys. It was really fucking weird.
And I mean, it really was. Like, it was,
It was
I
weird.
was cackling, but I also let it call me out. I had it roast me this morning, and y'all,
It was hilarious.
I am apparently the clearance aisle at Spencer's. That is exactly what it says my vibe is.
Hold on, I got it.
It
Hold
says
on.
that towards the I may not have even sent you that one because I sent all of them to you, Brandy, and Austin.
Let's see here. Ba. Let's see. So
The highlights, one of them was
the highlights, you look like you were forged in the fires of a Guy Fieri fever dream and cooled in a vat of monster energy. The stance, that's not intimidation. That's a physical embodiment of my dad says I'm the best at this. He posted it was him
pulling a shuriken out of a bullseye and
pulling
axe throwing.
a throw a what?
Shuriken?
The fuck is a shuriken?
A throwing star?
What?
Oh my God. Your parents, me, and Tip all failed on teaching you things.
I don't know what I knew it. Throwing star. A fucking shuriken? If no one else knows what a shuriken is, please let me know.
Most people who would be listening to this, actually, that's a
Oh,
lie.
here we go. Your whole vibe is a suburban dojo champion who peaked in a laser tag league. The kind of guy who gets banned from Renaissance fairs for excessive intensity.
There was one that I really liked. It was you're holding on to that shuriken like it's the last pizza roll on earth. I thought
Oh
that
yeah,
was fucking hilarious.
you're gripping those ninja stars like they're the last pizza rolls on earth.
Yes.
And yet somehow it still looks like your main weapon is unsolicited opinions about anime power levels.
Fucking called me out, y'all. I thought it was hilarious.
This shirt says I fight demons. Yeah, demons like laundry cardio and replying to women's DMs without a Funko Pop reference. Yeah.
I don't reply to women's DMs with Funko Pop references. In fact, I talked about Machine Gun Kelly to Caitlin's first messages, so
That's because you knew that would reel me in. The fuck? I'm pretty sure I put that in my. Again, guys, y'all know we met through Tinder. Pretty sure I put that in my Tinder profile. I love MGK.
I don't know.
So
I don't remember
technically,
what your
you
Tinder
just use
profile was. I just remember
context
seeing your
clues.
boobs.
What?
I just remember seeing your boobs.
Oh, that's right, because that's all you. I did. Okay, now I have to explain this. I did not have pictures of my boobs on Tinder, guys. I have a large chest, and so that's what he focused on.
She had a cleavage picture on there because she was in it.
Cleavage picture?
You did. It was one of your Halloween costumes. It was very revealing. It wasn't that revealing. Okay. I was sheltered as a child.
Uh-huh.
So like
Thank you for explaining
she
this.
showed
'Cause
some cleavage, I guess I should say.
yeah, I had a boob slit. And he
Whatever.
was like, "Oh my gosh, babies!"
I love boobies. I always have and I always will. Little ones, big ones.
Okay, we're done. Moving on.
Okay, so that is it for Annabelle.
Let
We
us
are-
know in the comments, what you guys think,
What is your theory about
this-
Annabelle?
because I really need to know that I'm not alone on this, and I know I'm not alone on this because I've messaged my friends about this, but I want to make sure that the people of the internet feel the way that I feel.
Yeah.
Because again, I know my friends are true and I know that they're like, yes, agreed. I want to make sure that other people feel that way. So let us know, like, yo, this is freaking crazy. Or, Caitlin, you're overreacting. Calm down. It's just a Raggedy Ann doll.
It's creepy for sure.
Yeah.
So now, second part of the episode. We're going into Did you not want to do a second part?
Just do another episode.
Okay, fine. You guys are getting 2 episodes apparently. Well, we may separate them by a day or 2.
Yeah.
We got to get content out, guys. And we are supposed to be doing like 2-part episodes though. One for you, one for me, but I guess that was kind of both of us. All right, guys. We're going to call it a night.
Bye.
Sunflower and Nightshade on Facebook. Sunflower and Nightshade on Patreon.
Go listen.
Go listen. Join the cult.
It's not a cult. Oh my God.
Join the club. We would love to have you. We want to hear your opinions. We want to talk about the things you want us to talk about. And we also really want to get involved in your business. We'll give you relationship advice. Thank you guys. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.